Yeah, I got messages coming to me. One inbox, another inbox.
Checking out. Could be beer.
Got wifey.
No. 37.
Like this.
Yeah.
It's usually pretty consistent once we've got a bunch of science people doing stuff.
Yep.
Things waving up here. They will be shortly.
Don't look the same up right now.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? I think maybe you have to just can have it like another 2-3 weeks instead of every Wednesday. Because we're gonna be in a holding pattern until we get surveys back. It's okay.
And Jeff, yes.
They were switching from generator back to main.
That's, I wrote that.
My stereo, $5,000 worth of stereo equipment, smoked. I was in the bathroom before I can hit the off.
Yes, on everything.
Going from shore power. Oh, they kept flipping back.
Oh,
Back
good
and
sign.
forth, back and forth.
That's it.
Shore power, backup generators on the base.
Oh.
Next to the apartment house, going back and forth, the relays were smoke, literally smoked. That was 70s.
Actually, the Korea traffic switches go to base.
Usually, pro
That must have been a really brief flicker because that on battery backup.
Ooh.
So that was good.
Oh, it's not a laptop?
No, that's a that's a smaller desktop.
Okay. A small form factor. I see it now, okay.
Oh, so good. We may as well turn our camera on. Yes. I'm just gonna keep checking to see if anybody else is coming in over here. Know where we are. It's optional.
Tesla is outside. I knew it was you. Crazy.
That time I said, Jordan, what can I have to think about?
The wrinkle.
Yeah.
Wrinkle
that
picker.
right, that right.
Actually, I'm meeting with Clam Labs. Yeah,
Getting some claims.
no, I'm gonna do some work with them. He knows how to do fundraising, he doesn't know how to do some private. Why do you want to go with it? You have a wonderful place. So, in my big mouth. Yeah. How are you?
Oh, I can find you.
Oshag, Nancy.
Oh, that's right.
They look back at the same
Those
time,
are
so.
fast. It was the best. Kind of jealous that you own that hat, frankly.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Sandy, sounds good. Good luck.
I should get my minutes. I think I sent it to you.
You don't like it? Fortunately, I can't pull it up.
I need 2 votes.
How are you? You
How
what?
are you?
You need 2 votes?
I need your votes.
I sent them in today.
Okay.
I sent them to you today. If you don't get it, if you don't have them, then let me know. And I also double checked with Eric to make sure he was
I saw that.
interested. Yeah. And my votes were in that same email.
Yep, you're right.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
can't pull it up. That's. I know, it's on this extension, ODT.
Oh, we're talking, yeah.
We can change
Open
that.
open office to doc. If you send it to me, I have Word, I can probably,
Could convert it to Word.
if you send it to me, I can.
Yeah,
convert it
but
to Word.
Tom apparently doesn't feel like it's important.
Well, that's probably my oversight on not changing your default, because I usually do that.
I don't have it. They don't want it.
You have a default to save as a Word doc.
As a Word doc.
Right,
And I need to just set that.
From
Come on, actually.
Come to me, I'll take it.
but I mean, I'm about to have office.
Yeah,
Ooh. You should get Office 365, then you get like multiple, you can
I have
amplify.
it, you know what, I have it on my home system and it wouldn't let me log into my Word. Yeah.
we're going with the perpetual licenses.
Okay, yeah, because that's the license, once you get Microsoft, the licensing scheme is, once you get to enterprise
So
level.
sometimes I just bring my laptop.
I'm still running 2003 Office.
Wow, those are the old ribbon days.
You wanna know why?
I got a typewriter, but it's fine.
Yes, it.
He does. I've seen it.
It even has a correction in the page.
You do have an
You have to
impact,
order
an
the
impact
refill.
printer at the office as well.
Believe it or not, there was a lot of people that create from greater versions of Microsoft Office came out. I said, there's a converter that converts like to Office 2000. So I just said, we just keep 2003. And every time I open up the application, it asks me to wait the license here. But it's stable.
Mine's unstable.
I'm not saying it's stable.
Mine's like when, remember when the Romulans put the red matter into. That's my default.
I'm not telling
At any moment, it can crash and disintegrate and disappear and go black hole.
Well, it being about 1:05, should we
Yeah, let's
call the meeting to order?
yeah, let's call the meeting to order. I think it's gonna hopefully be a relatively quick meeting, not like 2 hours last time. So I understand, Sandy, we did not get the grant or the intern.
We didn't get that fellow.
We didn't get the fellow.
I don't know how we didn't get the fellow because our town put up the money for it and they were, like, we talked to them through the whole process and it seemed like I got a deal and then I got an email.
That was
And
fine.
I did all the work on the application.
One might be it was political.
Who knows?
Yeah. But
Can we just take a moment? Who do we have on Zoom? I know we have Sandy and who's listening in. I see we have Pearl Bardo. And who do we have on the phone? Does anybody recognize that phone number?
No, I don't
Where's
recognize the area code.
804-514-8637.
4, no, he's would be like 713 or 570.
Anyway, they encouraged us to apply again in January, so I'm sure we'll still have a need for it.
It's Virginia area code.
Maybe Southern Stratton. That could be Roy.
Roy sent me an email. He said he wouldn't be able to attend. Roy in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean his cell phone number. All right, well,
Anyway, on the agenda was the intern fellow, which we did not get, so that's a done for now.
But the other half of that equation, what we talked about before, is I am moving forward with the connecting grant. And I just spoke to Stephanie, who is Peggy's second.
Yeah.
And she really liked, I kind of went through it already because I had already done the outline and stuff, and whatever, but they really liked it because we have two communities coming together, it's like a wild plays, it's apparently our project section. So she, I should have that done this week and then she'll review it for me before I submit it.
Okay,
And then I'm gonna submit it actually before the deadline.
okay.
So that's the startup grant, it's anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000. Yeah. What I found out about the fellow though, actually Sandy and I couldn't entirely know this, is that I was under the impression from the way that they worded it, that the fellow would be a graduate or a grad student, but it's actually an undergrad, so it wasn't like we could pick from some pool of educated in our area kind of peeps.
The only requirement with the harbor had was that he be a resident.
Right, but I was looking for someone that had some credentials in the areas that they were looking, because I thought it was a grad student, the way that they spoke of it.
okay, we're gonna need to either speak up or move closer because they can't hear.
Okay. I just wanted to say that we're moving forward with the Connect Maine grant, which is the startup grant, which gets us into the line for the infrastructure grants that come later to process. You start with startup, then you go to planning, and then you go to infrastructure. So hopefully we'll be into that by the end of the year.
Okay,
And then, has anyone we talking about concrete?
Well. No. I suppose that's something that needs to be raised.
I submitted 3 questions to Goldsboro Conference Board. They have a meeting on the 24th, Thursday night. And I'm sure that I'll see Deb before that, and I'll see the questions before they get to the select.
Sandy, read some of the questions. Went into more detail, I guess you got a copy of that.
Yeah, but I couldn't get it in the newsletter this month because the newsletter's got the comp plan questionnaires.
Yeah, so I mean, if Winter Harbor gets it in by April, that will be fine. I'll be at that meeting on Thursday. Anything.
Go right through the audio.
Oh, okay.
It's your little soft spoken there.
Sorry.
That's okay.
People.
Yes, yeah.
Anyway, all right.
Good.
We'll do that.
Maybe.
Let me see, so the questions are pretty much taken care of. We'll be putting, I guess the planning board will be putting it into the newsletter. And then comes, we have to wait to survey. So we're in a waiting period with the response from the community. Now, everybody should have gotten the 911 app. Margaret said you did not find your house. Well, there's no, it's an alternate universe. And, somebody is important in your life. You know, my doubt, well, the thing is that E911 is the public version of it. I want to compare this.
Call me and I'll put you in.
Yeah, I mean,
If anyone's not in there, call me.
I suspect that will be a number of people because it's not entirely accurate.
Yeah.
From what I'm finding out.
It's not complete.
You know, it's
Oh, that's
even
not-
maps that are out from the school committee or for a broadband committee are inaccurate.
Right. So, you know, we need to get that validated.
We can get tax maps with
Yeah.
addresses too and owners, so
I-
we have options.
You know what, for the sake of privacy, what do you want the owner names or anything like that? Addresses, of course, but I don't think we need to know the names.
Some of them are rentals, like where I'm renting, so
Okay,
not my place.
oh, we need your address. So, with that, then so we got that. The next thing, I can't find my minutes.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I got it here,
Oh,
but it's the one I put up. For the agenda.
oh,
God knows what's going on with this thing. Because I sent it on Sunday night. So, anyway, I mean, there's not too much. I mean, we're gonna be in a holding pattern until we get the survey. And the survey says, you know, that's one of the things. The other thing is I have a conference call with Spectrum this Friday at 11. Melinda is the person at Spectrum. I've been trying to reach them. I tried getting in contact, but now they finally reached out. Simon from Consolidated also said he'd like to have a conversation too. Now, I think there might be a couple of schools as well. I mean, the preference, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is that we want to do fiber to the premise. It is cable to the premise acceptable, you know, especially with, if they're deploying hybrid fiber cable, you know, where you're gonna get the symmetrical speeds, doesn't really matter that much.
I would say as an intern that we'd accept anything.
Okay, because, you know, my logic is that dealing in upstate New York with fiber, everything is fine. You know, reliability is like, you know, especially if you have 4 nines across the board. However, if you lost a tree, you know, brings down the line, it doesn't matter. Although they do have an SLA. That's the other thing to look into is SLAs. If you don't fiber, especially when you have an SLA, you need to respond. MTTRE would be like an hour and a half. Meantime, to restore is another problem. Specification that they didn't guarantee you'd be up in 2 hours. Depending on if the pole itself was down, they'd have to bring in a new pole and everything else, so. But at least meantime to respond is like an hour and a half, or was. So those are the things, and,
When's your meeting?
Friday at 11. And she just sent me the calendar information on that, so we should. It's gonna be a general thing, some general questions, I don't know if they deploy HFC. In the case of Winter Harbor has like 70% coverage. Now, I drove along Summer Harbor Road. Didn't appear to be any cable whatsoever on that road. That's something that has to be built out, whoever it is. I didn't see it, but then
I
again,
just, I don't know, I couldn't do it. You were following that.
but that's a question, that would be a question for special, built out, the fiber, or whatever you're deploying. Also gonna find out when DOCSIS 4 is available. I think price-wise, Consolidated, Simon from Consolidated wants to talk to me also. Hold off talking to anybody until we have the information in. So if you want me to speak to them ahead of time, I don't want to commit to anything, obviously. I think Consolidated is a little pricey, especially for Hillsborough. Town hall. I think the speed for what you're paying. They should be able to bundle stuff too. If you're getting fiber, you should be able to get a bundled package for telephone as well as internet connectivity.
Isn't there any programs though for community, like for government businesses that they get like a free, package, I guess it is?
Well, for businesses, yeah, there's usually packages where it's bundled. In the case of like, especially because you see it advertised, it's $29.95 or whatever it is a month, and then you get 2 lines, blah, blah, blah. So your total package is like $69 a month, but you also get 100 megabit. And if you want, I think 50 meg is great. They don't offer really 50 meg. Consolidated is still doing that, and I don't know.
Is that the highest option available, or is it something the town shows?
I would actually talk to him about that, because he knows more about it than me. He's been working on it.
So what's the specific questions about consolidated services?
Why did the town settle at 50 when we're looking for 100 by 100? I mean,
So I can't speak to what package is that they chose. I don't think that it's limited. I think that's the package they
So it
went.
was a financial decision perhaps.
I would expect so.
And I understood the Consolidated was laying the fiber, bringing the fiber in at no cost to the town. I presume so that they could then sell fiber to other people up and down the street.
It would make sense. I haven't been involved in that other than just answering some preliminary questions for the town.
So if they had the expandability for the 50 now, they can always upgrade.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's just.
I know for us, it was cost. I mean, we were paying a stupid amount of money to have internet in
Free
the
services.
firehouse, which if you've been to the town office, the firehouse is on one side, but we're on the other. And then the women's club is next door. So each one of those was costing us about $120 a month, which is nuts. So,
Yeah.
so we're getting one service, right?
You're going to have one service, and then we will use point-to-point setups to expand it to the building next door, and then we'll just run cable internally to spread it out to the areas it needs to be inside the building. But yeah, there's no reason to have 2 services in one building and a separate one for that next door women's club when you can cover it all from the one service.
Right. You can also do like Wi-Fi, like they'll set up for campgrounds, people, so I mean, that could be done.
Well, there will be Wi-Fi, but the next building is far enough away that a point-to-point setup
Okay,
will let us put in our own.
that's fine. I mean, the difference in price between 50 and 100 should be negligible. Really should be.
Do they even offer 100?
Well, that concerns me.
Well, this is not part of our project. This is.
No, I know
saving money.
this is separate and distinct, but again, 100 meg is like pretty much the standard now. And 50 meg is like,
What do we have now, like 25?
You might have, I don't know, it says on the bill, but you've got at least one service that I think is in the 25, you've got another that I think is 50, and those are through Spectrum. And I remember when I asked, it was because I think the EMS team needed to do training quite frequently, so they were doing a lot of streaming and so forth. So that was why they needed a higher bandwidth.
Yeah, that's where they do all that.
I mean, when they upgrade the speed from 50 to 100, it's just the console changes at the carrier for high speed. That's it. They just program them for 100.
That's why,
And you don't even realize it.
and that's why I suspect it's a package that was selected rather than a capability that wasn't available.
I'll find out. I'll add
Yeah, I mean, if that's a financial decision, but selectmen, they say, I selectmen or the board, whatever.
Actually, he's the head of infrastructure. He makes that.
Okay.
And he's there, everybody's always trying to save money, so.
Oh, I understand. Saving them is a good thing.
There's an X amount of money in the house from America.
And to the point of, saving money, it may be $20 difference to go from 50 to 100, but if you're never using 50, you're spending $20 more a month for service that you're not using.
Yeah, we don't go to stream.
They don't
Stream meetings,
Zoom.
public meetings.
That's it.
About it.
But even Zoom is not a high bandwidth.
Right.
user. 4K Netflix is 25 meg.
Mhm.
I don't think we're doing any sort of streaming of 4K Netflix at the town office.
They might be in the fire.
I don't think we have a lot of fire department trainings recorded and distributed.
I don't think it's training either.
Yeah, I mean, for the thing is, what this probably, back in the old days, you would put a DS3 line in. That's your
So just to throw this out there, one thing I got in the mail yesterday, because we had talked about this in the past. New service for, it was Tom, new service for Spectrum, internet only or TV only, $50 a month. They don't specify the bandwidth, but I imagine that's their bottom tier, and that's the promotional first year deal,
$50.
$50 a month.
I think typically they've gone to 100 now. So,
Just to touch on a point that you made about the reaching out to Spectrum and Consolidated. I actually got an email here yesterday from a representative who we were working with to evaluate putting fiber into campus here. And it was prohibitively costly at the time, but if you don't have any particular luck with the person you were speaking to, he's offered to work with us and just discuss the process with us. That's on the enterprise side, so that's not really the home as
I
much.
think, you have residential, and then you have
So,
enterprise.
so if it's of interest to this committee and we'd like to maybe have them join us on a call at some point at a meeting, he said he'd be happy to work with us.
Right. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to get the vendors, the vendor meeting, to talk about, hey, what can you do for us here? This is the layout, this is what we need to do. And you know what, they should be familiar with it because it's a statewide law, at least Hancock County wide. And that, so I mean, it's something they should be familiar with. That is really basically all I have. I mean, as far as like further meetings, until we get responses back from the folks on the survey, and we may want to just pursue grant activity. That's about it. And I think a lot of us can go pretty fast. And once we get the survey and the survey says that. So I mean, it looked like there were about, so I got a count on the United One, there were about 1,800 residences. So about 1,400 in Blue Spiral, and the remainder is in Winter Harbor. Like I said, Winter Harbor is 70% lit. I don't know if that's going to skew things or what.
Yeah, love the service.
Well, that's the thing. You know, are you happy with your current, sounds like your car warranty. Are you happy with your car warranty?
Because I hear that Winter Harbor doesn't have good for people who live there.
I have no
It's,
You know, and there's like a few people that don't, but it seems to be,
it's within,
if you're close to the pole.
even like Pete Drinkwater is bonding. I was just over his place the other day. He's bonding two of his modems in order to get a higher level of service. So, yeah, it's a business.
Well, once we get the carriers here, my conversation with Melinda on Friday will be, it's gonna be in depth. She may need to bring the technical person, she says.
Right.
So, but she can at least take the questions down, on that. So, I mean, let's look at that next time. You wanna be on the phone, so, sure, would you be,
I could be another year.
okay?
Yep, and the other thing was keeping the committee in the eyes of the public investors. It's in the news, so they're aware of what's going on. And one of the things I found out was called the ACP program, where people are having difficulties or financial difficulties could get $30 off of their bills. So that's.
That's something that needs to widen.
Right, and that's just.
Well, the
to keep
state
it-
of Maine requires that if we go through funding through the state, that we have to offer free service to people that can't afford it as a town. So.
So that's.
So we got programs.
We've got programs of that, but we also got, one of the things that we're seeing is a lot of our organizations and Hillsborough are stepping up and wanting to become internet cafes for various things. The library and the historical society specifically are talking about wanting to do that for townspeople because there's so many people that don't have any service. So they come and park at the town office.
They're usually like town offices are like a hotspot. In emergencies especially, they need like a charging station for your phone, your lost power. The town should be on no
Yeah.
break
We have Jenny.
generator. And if you got fiber, that should not go down in a power failure.
The library's been the internet hub for decades.
Of the Dorcas,
Yeah.
that was Two Sisters, wasn't
It was Two Sisters Deli for a while.
Way back when.
Way back.
When they first got the internet, just a historical artifact, librarians turned off the router when the library was closed,
I didn't know that.
because they just didn't want people to use this when the library was.
Wow. Because that was, yeah, and well, you see that now, because like they were, I think, Bill, Microsoft Bill, provided a T2 line into that library, so.
Their service is an old T1, T2 line,
Yeah.
But it comes from the Maine State Library Association. They leave the router on
Yeah.
As a courtesy.
as a courtesy. They want it free. Just to call me.
That's way back, we're talking.
That's like 1998 vintage, 1.544.
What, hey,
I had a T1 in 1990.
we're at 9.6K modems.
Hey, even a 56 kilobit modem.
Hey, Roy, do you work over in Winter Harbor very much? Can you talk about what kind of service they have around there?
As in with different locations in Winter Harbor.
Yeah,
Most of the people that I have worked with are right in the center of town. I had years ago, one person called me from Summer Harbor Road. I don't remember what service they had at that point. But I would wager that if it was anything more than dial-up, it was DSL. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that many right in there, but
I have a friend on Summer Harbor Road, and I go over to her house to get injections every third day. She has DSL with her Verizon. So,
kind of a hotspot. That's what they have with the plant, a hotspot.
I don't know, the Verizon modem that you're talking about, it's one of the old West Elms.
old West Elms.
Old West Elms square boxes.
Rearranged.
done well to have that one last that long.
But just thinking about that. That's pretty much all I have. It's,
Sandy says Summer Harbor doesn't have good coverage.
no,
I agree.
no, that's one of the areas of my concern for whoever wants to do that, because that's all gonna be a whole new, route.
It's old copper. It's really old copper now.
Nobody wants copper, there's no money in copper. So I mean, maybe a hybrid solution, way I'm thinking of is that you'll have a couple of vendors of choice based upon their response to the RFP. And for people who really are off the beaten path, Starlink. So
Yeah.
that would be an offering, but that behooves them, the onus would be on them. So it's a provider of equipment and everything else. So those would be the choices. But I think right now, Spectrum, Consolidated, maybe one other, besides Starlink. Other than to consider.
What is it, Starlink salary?
Starlink is,
Elon Musk.
I mean, who's the balloons?
Oh,
Google.
Google was doing that wrong.
yeah, there was another company that was doing stratomites. Which were like a stratosphere.
And there's another one that's putting up, it's putting like 36 clusters at a time.
Elon.
No.
So I mean, yeah, the technology has changed.
Space trash,
Yeah, that's it.
all space
They want
trash.
to put it in jets. They would have an internet, they would be an internet in regular commercial aircraft, yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry, the plane's leaving. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff. But I think for terrestrial, yeah, there'll be just a couple of vendors. I don't think you're gonna have all these vendors on all the poles, different kinds of it. You may not have the, frankly, it's gonna come down to financials. You notice who's missing is Verizon, AT&T.
Other than wireless.
Yeah.
The towers.
Tower scanning.
AT&T is just wireless these days anyway.
Yeah.
And Verizon sold its interest back, what was it,
Yeah.
2008 or so. They didn't want this market because there was no money in it.
And they have old equipment and said they didn't have to invest anything, so they did, here's Fairpoint. Oh, thank you.
So we should speak about Sullivan. Any questions? We can speak to it, but I'll tell you the truth. It becomes expensive for people to provide their own equipment. And who's that for?
I think that was Sandy.
Sandy's wrong.
Yeah, Sandy, this is satellite's fine, but the owners, you're looking at maybe $300-400 to set up the transceiver equipment for that. You need to put up a dish, you need to put the receiver in.
Unless it goes down the limit.
But she's saying that Sullivan's doing it. So
Out there,
it
push
must
the
have
button.
some cost.
Well,
Are you looking?
yeah, Sullivan's kind of spread out too. It's not like a whatever, or it's like a cluster. So I mean, geographically, each one. Now, this isn't one size fits all. It's really not. And if it makes sense for them to do that, fine. It may make sense for Boonesboro too. I mean, when you think about West Boonesboro, South Boonesboro, Boonesboro. It may make sense. But we won't know until.
I don't want to decide anything yet.
Right.
I don't know.
No. So that's my take on things.
Sandy, do you know who's leading the Sullivan effort? See if she gets back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sandy.
Hi, I'm stopped so I can check in for a few minutes. I don't recall the gentleman's name. I have it in an email.
Is it
He's the
Don?
one that, That sounds right.
Okay. I can just see what.
He's the one that, yeah, they initiated the large satellite structure that's behind Sullivan Recreation Center. There was a write-up in the newspaper. And I'm not saying I'm in favor of satellite, but I feel it has to be brought to the table because there will be people in our community that will be for or against one or the other. And if we don't bring that conversation to the table, then we're going to find out at ballot time. And that's not when you want to find out that somebody wanted to hear about it.
As far as satellite goes, if it's just going to the rec center, you know, that's fine. I mean, similar to what Boothborough, the town, Boothborough is doing.
I think what she's saying is they're putting a tower behind there, and I don't think it's just for the rec center.
No, it's no,
No, I don't
not
know.
a cell tower.
I think we just need to find out what it is and what the goal is with that.
I'll give someone a buzz.
When I'm back in the office, I'd be happy to send that information along.
All right, so if you want to take that on, go right ahead. Right ahead. You know, I'm just curious, who was the vendor they're using? Is it Starlink, is it Usenet or something? Because Starlink uses low Earth orbit satellites on that. So should be getting some good speed on it, but you don't know. Oh, but there's a lot of stuff we need to find out. But, you know, if it works, I'm open to any suggestion on that. You know, like I said, it doesn't have to be terrestrial, it could be satellite.
Is it Don Snoke is his name?
I think
I'm
that's,
reading the article on AARP right now. It's a big article on it. Talks about
You've got it.
I've got,
Yes.
yeah, it's talking about how they are going through the coalition and they are the age-friendly state. The need for it, and it's a large article, so I can forward that up, and they even included some of the Island Institute maps on this.
Perfect. That's as much as I know about it myself. It was just brought to my attention this past week that we have a local sort of expert that's gone through it that could at least speak to that.
Yeah, it says 80% of Sullivan's residents gained access to high-speed internet, and he's after the final 20%.
Yeah, but I think
Good argument, good argument.
Hey, Sandy,
Yes.
Claire, call me Claire. What was, you sent me an email about, an intern? I was reading it as I was doing 100 other things, and I meant to call you and ask you about it. Can you talk about that a little bit? Is that from Island Institute?
Correct. The
Okay.
Maine Broadband Coalition and Island Institute have identified a need in our community and appreciate that the Scudic Peninsula Broadband Committee is trying to collaborate. This was pre-denial on the Island Fellow. Krista Thorpe from Island Institute reached out and said that communities, they're allowing 12 of these across the state. And Scudic Peninsula was selected, which will give us an advantage for funding down the road. It sort of, it raises awareness across all granting and funding organizations that we are a collaborative, forward-thinking community. It is a $4,000 stipend intended for preferably a young adult or youth that can help in our initiatives for the committee, starting as soon as we can find somebody and through about July. I have put out some feelers, and if there's anyone on the committee that can think of someone that would be a good support asset for our committee, they can let me know. I have to submit names to Krista Thorpe in the next week or so.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I meant to call you, I'm sorry, about a friend and committee member. But I'll talk to you about it too. And I want to talk to you about the grant, because I'm almost done with that.
Perfect.
Back to you.
Thank you, Peter.
For our next.
Our next step. I have really nothing else to add to that. I mean, I think sometimes I think we're getting bogged down. All these articles are very nice to have. All right, but it's going to come down to several vendors. It's going to come down to what are people willing to pay? How much can the state defray the cost?
But to keep it in front of other people, like within Winter Harbor and Poolsboro, so if they know there's progress or something, like Wayne was saying, or you go in front of the selectmen and you've got nothing to show for the same.
I always have something to show.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean,
Conjure it up.
yeah, no, we could.
But I mean, I look at this project, I don't look at it as, let's get internet for everybody solely. I look at this as an infrastructure project for the town.
Right.
Because it is. And
Sure.
it adds value to the town, and it adds value to the properties and the residents.
Mhm.
And I think that the project needs to be based on that. That's why I want a long-term solution, so that, because if we're gonna lay down the money, and that's conceivable, that we will lay down millions to put fiber in the town. It's a long-term investment.
Oh, there's no question about it's a long-term investment. It's gonna come down to the providers, we're gonna get grant money. Of course, $4 million to light up Poolsboro, all of Poolsboro. Is it worth it to the county? Yeah, well, that's something
I
that,
mean, and we haven't decided that the best solution is for the town to own that infrastructure. We haven't decided that yet, because we don't know yet.
and I tell you what, we don't want to create bureaucracy like Poolsboro, internet corporation.
I'm not saying that we do, I'm just saying, I don't think we know enough to make a definitive decision now. Let's wait, let's not decide that we know the answer until we actually do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, we're dealing. And that's why the survey's so terribly important. I was saying 1,800 people, the 600 people who want it actually want it.
And there's other people coming as well. Yeah.
They want it, the summer people want it,
Yeah,
that's
they need
one of the biggest gripes that the property owners.
Well, they need their survey.
Oh, yeah, can't go without an internet connection.
You have like a mailing list of homes, like,
I have a mailing list of the owners of the properties. But I mean, the newsletter goes out to the town. That's in there. That survey, our comp planning survey is going to be in the newsletter going out this month, which is why I couldn't get that sheet in, because we maxed out on that free mail. By free, I mean, not free.
Well, is there a targeted list of owners / renters?
I want to see the map first. I don't live in this town, so I don't know this town like everybody else does. So today is one of my days to go drive around the perimeter of this town and see what,
what did she say?
well, we have a problem with Clam Lab has a problem with getting access to all the clam flats around town, and it used to be understood among the owners to let them go, let people clam. But now that a lot of properties being sold, new people coming in and they're like, oh, my clams. And they don't understand that it's part of resilience, that, oh, there's places that you
I
can.
thought they were 11.
Prospect Harbor is
Prospect.
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay.
it's all of it. I saw a map yesterday, because that was part of how I'm getting Shanghai into this project today. Is that we need a way to communicate with new owners about the importance of having access to these lands. And the state is stepping in with some money to try to, we're gonna be buying up some land too. So, for the shore conservants, shoreline conservants. I don't know if you guys know all what's going on with shoreline and Clam Lab and all
That
that.
and I just remember they cut the path, how big.
Yeah.
Few.
Big deal. A lot of people make their money, their living in Veterans Bay and all around this area. This is the land of fishermen.
Yeah.
And if they don't, there has to be a plan, there has to be a long-term plan.
Sure.
We've got problems with pollution. That's what closes most of this,
Red tide.
is the septics.
Oh, that's right. That's a rich field, so.
Yeah.
It's all James.
So the town has a lot of issues. Broadband is one of them. Broadband is probably the most expensive one.
So, and when is the survey data theoretically supposed to be back by?
I think, Deb said that in the meeting too, thinking June. I think they're trying to have it before June because annual town meetings in June 14th or 15th. So that's when anything that's gonna get voted on is gonna get voted on.
So we won't have really much of any data back until about that time.
Depends on how those things come out.
Are you planning on telling them as
I
they
have
come
a
in?
feeling that I've been selected in absentia.
Oops.
Probably went to the ballot and some voted,
Another hat,
Yeah, another hat.
another hat.
But I'm imagining probably that if we're not the ones doing the counting in the town, we'll be the ones gathering up the surveys. Because there is no other central location to bring them to other than the town office. And the comp planning board meetings are there.
Sandy's dropped off a call, but we can check with her just to see when that is happening as well, because without that data, we don't really have a lot to go on for next steps.
Mhm. That's what I was saying before, we're really in a holding pattern. Because we don't know.
I don't think we should rely on one survey.
Well, no, we don't.
I think we should
rely
start
on-
another one too. I think we should have as many as we can have and gather up as much data as we can. But it can't hurt, it's almost free. Yeah.
So what would you do with this other survey? Would you ask different questions? You would ask the same question?
I'd probably ask more of the questions that we want to ask. I mean, if we have that, we're gonna have money to do it. You know, however we want to get it out.
With
Carrier
the startup
pigeon
grant?
mail, whatever. Yeah, like I think it's silly to put stuff like that on the internet now. Island doesn't have it, and they don't have it reliable enough to do something. So I'll get it to them and I'll stand outside at IGA at the end of it. I don't care. Because it's the amount of consistent data that we can get, we can start making correlations between the different data that we have in the same areas. That what we really have.
It sounds like we got more questions in on the Winter Harbor survey, which is good. So I guess that may be something we want to think about next meeting, either developing a separate survey, circulating it, at least in Gouldsboro, where we only got the 3 questions in
Yeah.
on the comp plan.
Yeah, she, did you see that survey? Did you see that when you came by the office last?
No, I just want to.
It's lengthy, it's about 4 pages long. So they were really asking me to be concise, so I took all of our questions and I broke them into like kind of multiple part, 3 multiple part questions. But the things that I felt like we were kind of the most important things that we would heard to them. What, when, and how, and how much.
So when do we think we would want to meet again? I guess would be the next big question.
Yeah, it's 2 to 3 weeks, yeah, 2 or 3 weeks.
So
What's your schedule? Aren't you about to turn into a pumpkin?
I don't know about a pumpkin, but
Traveling pumpkin?
So 2 weeks from today, March 22nd, 2 weeks, it's April 5th. We could do that, but the question becomes, will we have stuff to do, or we just want to do the focus on the secondary survey for Goldsboro?
Well, we should have an answer on our grant by that time. The cutoff is the 5th, but like I said, I'm turning it in early and I was encouraged to by committee, so.
The 12th, I definitely can't do. I'll be in Massachusetts. And I could do the week after, so do 2 weeks, do 4 weeks.
I recommend 4.
Not
I really think that we will have enough to fill the agenda. in 5 weeks.
Okay.
I agree.
I mean, I can do grant stuff by myself. I don't need a meeting.
Want to try for the 19th?
Let's try for the 19th. I will
Is it a Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Hold on, I might be having a surgery that
My
day.
camera.
Get a crown.
Congrats.
My bike crashed too, it's finally given up for this.
Well, let's pencil in the 19th, and if that is the day that you're having surgery, we can either adjust, or we can have somebody else take notes.
Okay,
Can you go down to the dentist office?
We can go meet.
it's a
at the
nice,
dentist's
it's a
office.
Sorrento.
We'll be like the dentist, because how they've got their hand in your mouth, and then they want to ask you questions, how your weekend was.
Bring on the gas. I get gas for everything. I'm on a parallel universe, I don't want to do this.
I will see.
Then ask me questions.
I'll check with the events office here.
I think we need to settle on however many questions we want to have and what those questions are going to be, so that would be helpful.
So I think everybody here was party to the other set of questions we
Okay.
have, right?
So maybe we can meet Bob and Mike and whoever's around nearby and run through those questions.
Maybe we just want to recirculate them
Yes.
over email just to get a
Yeah.
fresh copy in everybody's mind. And it probably would be helpful to highlight which questions were touched on in the surveys. So that way we could maybe focus on.
I'll have a copy of, I think our survey is getting approved at the next selectmen meeting, which is next week, so then I'll have a copy of, I have the original preliminary copy, which saw that, I guess. Those are like, saw that, so maybe you guys. But I should have that final copy, and then if we could get one from Winter Harbor, can you get one from Winter Harbor? You want that?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna see the planning committee Thursday. It's at 6 o'clock.
But I'm not saying we shouldn't include any of those questions.
No,
Because I think we should.
we can, I
Yeah.
think if we identify which ones have already, at least we know we'd be hammering them again. Just know what's
And
already.
hopefully picking up different people, because there's gonna be people that just don't do surveys. The same people that don't answer the census, when they send that to your house.
Is there something concrete we could be doing to assist?
We can send it home with kids. You know,
Yeah,
I know,
school might balk at that.
but we're working with the youth at summer, summer.
Yeah, I'm not saying, it's just saying, we need to make sure we have.
No, I know, there's all kinds of rules you have to go through the Gestapo school district.
Use it.
RSU 24.
I hate organization government.
Well, if Sumner, Sumner's in Sullivan, right?
Sumner's and Sullivan.
So if you're looking at satellite, do they want to do satellite for the school?
Oh, school has, I think the school has fiber.
Okay.
I don't know what they have over at Mountain View. I don't know what they have a peninsula, but I imagine peninsula's pretty good, and those are also still through the NSO, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think Peninsula has like what we have.
So,
Can you find out for me on the school board what we need to do? Because I'd rather go through all of the schools than just.
to send the information home with the kids.
Sure. Because we wanted to have the kids involved in the broadband initiative,
No,
because it's been really popular in other towns to have kids. Because, you know, a lot of times older people, they don't see the value in it the way the kids do, the way the youth do.
Oh, yeah, especially kids.
And like little kids.
So Tom, to answer your question, I don't know that there's anything directly that you can do remotely. I think the gathering is just on us up here, reaching out to the towns and the organizations. That may change as time goes on, but
Yeah, I think this will evolve based upon the responses we get.
I think we need to flood the communities with just every opportunity to answer questions about broadband. Until they're sick of it,
Keep it
keep it in their face.
I think way back when I wanted to over communicate, like to Winter Harbor.
We're gonna over communicate.
Oh, yeah, over communicate. Until they told us to shut up.
We're gonna go Gladys Kravitz on. They'll never escape it.
No.
Because that's how we're gonna get the best data. We'll have Mark go on his leprechaun suit,
There we go.
come out of the foliage.
That's right.
On a Friday night after
Or
food
like
nights.
sandwich board sign.
distribution of non-school materials.
Not totally non-school, the kids use internet at home, right, for learning.
What about this? We can argue the RSU's definition of what is and is not a non-school material, but it doesn't change the RSU's perception. So
They don't see like the internet as valuable to school.
I'm not saying they don't, I'm saying that we have a policy about the distribution of non-school materials. And that even though we're doing something that will help the schools and the school communities, we still have to play by those same laws.
So you'll tell me, right?
Well, I'm gonna read the policy here and I will give you what's,
Well, is that something that could be brought up to the school board?
He is the school board.
I know, I understand, but the whole.
That's why I brought it up.
School board people type thing.
I'm gonna go through the policy here and I'll let you know what it says that's pertinent. That's after I read it.
After.
Okay, now that we know, but hell no. Okay.
Why don't you guys come by this week? What are you doing Thursday?
Thursday. It's nicer. Gonna have nice.
Wednesday, this week.
Wednesday tomorrow. Then she's got it following one eye tomorrow, not the next night. Wait for that. But I know it should be good because Thursday is when they have the.
Yeah, I have a long day, so I tend to do a lot of project stuff on Thursdays.
All right. I can swing by on Thursday.
Okay, so information and notices from municipal, state, and federal agencies concerning programs available to students is the closest thing that applies to our aim here. Those may be distributed to students to be carried home, but you still need to basically coordinate through the principal of each student. And that may be at their discretion. So, but it would be something I can ask and see if anybody volunteers at it. It's not a school, it's not a program specifically, that's the thing. This is more of an improvement for the community. So
Now, is this strictly for Sullivan or including Poolsboro?
RSU 24 serves
Okay.
9 towns, including Hillsborough, Winter Harbor.
Just wanted,
You don't have Stu Ben, right? Isn't that,
We have
you
students.
do have Stu Ben?
Ryanville, Eastbrook, Waltham, Franklin, Franklin, Sullivan, Sorrento, Hancock, Hillsborough, Winter Harbor student.
So it all changes in Millbridge,
Millbridge is MSA 37.
Mary Vegas. I'm so glad my kids are.
I just don't want the state to come up with this. I have a tradition about that. It's nice to bring it to the school, but to me, Sullivan,
The only reason I'm asking is to get that questionnaire.
oh, no, I get that, but I don't want to see Sullivan getting, this thing getting bigger and bigger and bigger. To include all RSU 24.
We don't have to, I just want to include the schools that serve the peninsula.
Well, that includes Sumner, which serves most of these towns.
But couldn't you just specify that it go home for the kids?
Again, that would be a question
Yeah.
to deal with the principal.
The peninsula school itself is.
But it's not like we're handing out crispy 20s and saying, hey, only you guys on the student can have one.
Catch half of the 20, and then say you get the other 20 when you.
When you
Service,
return.
service.
We'll do it like they do cookies or candy. We would give them an incentive to gather as many surveys as they can.
Just a perspective on the apathy of many people in these communities. This is not to say that there aren't a lot of good responsive individuals.
Yeah,
but
no, I know.
one of our strategic planning responses when we did our strategic plan back in 2014 for the school district, in response to how do we get more people engaged with the schools, responses was, you should pay us to attend the school board meetings.
That person never went to school. That's how they.
So I'm not saying that that's everybody, but I'm saying that is an attitude that is happening.
And that's also something we need to recognize about any of these surveys. The most likely responders are going to be the folks who already have some kind of connectivity. The folks who don't use the internet don't know that they could be better off with it, and that their property values would be better if they were connected. They're probably not going to answer. So we just need to understand the skew in the data when it comes back.
That's why I wanted multiple sources.
Yeah.
So that we can.
If we have multiple sources, we need to understand where there are duplicative answers.
Right.
Like you said, it's like a direct mailing. You send out so much and you expect maybe 10% back.
It's not going to be like a typical survey where you get 20% back. I think you've got a representative sample because this question specifically relates to an answer that's pertinent for the people who don't respond.
And that's why I also, when you came by, I wanted a whole map for Goldsboro, which is why I asked Jim for that. If he thought he could get it. It's just layers of data that have, and how we utilize it. It's maybe not obvious to us right now.
So I will reach out to JT Green and Sumner, and I'll reach out to Heather Dorr at Peninsula and just see if this would be something that would be, they would be comfortable distributing home with the students, at least the Peninsula students. And we'll go from there.
Everybody loves me, so they are. Everybody loves you the most, Lloyd.
Yeah, they don't love me the most, Franklin, right now, so I may not be on board after Friday.
Whatever, but everybody loves, all the people love you.
Yes, I know. The trolls are the ones that we have to take away voting next year.
I can speak to trolls. I speak to
All right, so April 19th.
Yep.
I will check with the office here to see that we're still available and get that on the schedule. The Zoom link will be the same as it was for today.
If we can't get the room, we could just have maybe just the regular Zoom call.
Regular Zoom call might be even better for acoustics for folks.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's clear that the people online are not
Well, if the
People
people,
engage in the conversation.
if the people here are comfortable doing the Zoom meeting, it would be easier probably.
I would hope.
Let's do that on the 19th. Just a Zoom.
I'm gonna need you to come put a camera and a microphone on the computer. Two things I don't, I can't even do Zoom.
I've got a camera with.
Unless I
webcam.
borrow. At least I could borrow the same computer.
Yeah.
Select my video.
Figure that out.
I'm so ready, I mean, July 1st. I'm already ready for that. I need it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the functionality that every day.
That's fun.
I do.
I love it. Your 320.
He saw that printer that, we used for the BMV reminders. The, yeah, the doc.
Donnie. And the reply times.
We even got the paper for it.
But for multiple forms, it works.
You can't do a multi-part document without it.
Otherwise, you have to print each page.
Most things are like a hands to the track effect.
I work with.
That was my show and tell, came into my office.
It's like,
I needed to see.
no, keep
see
it.
the crappy folding chair.
It's like 82, like 40 years ago.
But they had those at my dad's office when I was a kid, okay?
Well,
It works.
hey, no,
It works.
that's life. All right, then, the 19th, Zoom. Zoom.
Zoom.
And
We're out here.
about survey this week.
Says,
And Royal, my life. Is Wednesday still your good day? Or is that now your super busy?
Look good for what is the question?
Well, I'm gonna finish that grant, the grant application, I just wanna go through the parts of it real fast.
Okay.
It's not terribly involved or long.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Well, whoever they were, they